You are listening to Will County's News Talk Sports 1340 WJOL. It's time for Money Talk, brought to you by our friends at NuMark Credit Union. Today, very popular topic, mortgage refi. We'll introduce you to our expert guest here in a moment. I want to remind you that NuMark Credit Union is celebrating 70 years of service and wants to thank the loyal community members it serves with a variety of specials. From now until the end of the month, you can get $70 for opening a new checking account and meeting the requirements. Stop by and celebrate at NuMark today. Call 815-729-3211 or visit a NuMark office near you. NuMark Credit Union, where you are family. And also at the end of the program today, NuMark is going to be giving away a $25 Visa gift card, compliments of NuMark Credit Union. Just listen to the conversation, and at some point, we're going to give you the answer to the question. We don't know what that answer is. Heck, we don't even know what the question is yet. But we'll figure something out because you're going to get so much information that we could pick one of probably 50 things to ask you. Let's welcome in the Vice President of Mortgage Lending at NuMark Credit Union. His name is Harry Stewart, and he joins us this morning on the Turk Furniture Studio line. Hello, Harry.
Hey, Scott. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for coming on this morning. We appreciate it. I'm sure since about the last 12, 13, maybe 10 days or so, your phone has been ringing a lot more than it was.
yeah. It's with the Fed reducing the rates, even though it's not a direct correlation, it influences the mortgage rates. So we have been seeing an uptick in activity.
Yeah, you certainly
especially
have.
For refinances.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Well, Harry, good to talk to you. Harry, how long have you been doing this with NuMark now? It's been a while.
I just celebrated my 14-year anniversary.
That's what I
thought. Yeah, it's been a long time. Even back like when we first started doing this radio show, I remember us talking about there being 17 months of inventory in Will County, and right now we're about 3.5 months of inventory. So it's like complete opposites, but it's funny. Everything moves in cycles.
Yeah. So when you say that, explain that to people. When you're talking about 3.5 months of inventory, in other words, there are not a lot of opportunities for people to buy right now.
Yeah, in the past, it seemed like it was a buyer's market. Like when we first started doing these radio shows, I want to say 12, 13 years ago, it was Will County had a large amount of inventory. We just kind of got out of that bad housing market crash. There was 17 months of inventory in Will County, and now the exact opposite problem. It's a seller's market, and inventory is at about 3.5 months of inventory. But I think with the rates coming down, if the mortgage rates follow the Fed rate and start creeping down and make housing a little more affordable, I think it'll get a lot of more people apt to sell their property and move. Yep. Like right now, they're like, well, I'm in a low rate, maybe I don't want to move. But I think with these rates coming down, I think it might push people off the fence almost.
Yeah, because if you're sitting at 2.5 or 3, even 3.5, you don't want to sell because you're not gonna be able to get as much house. Maybe you don't want, but whatever you get, your interest rate's going to be a lot higher and your payment's going to be more, and that's probably not a smart financial move for a lot of people.
Yep, and that's probably why the inventories was a little bit higher. I think with the rates coming down, I think it'll bring a lot more buyers into the market as the housing expense kind of comes down, or the affordability of housing, I should say.
Well, let's get into home values right now. Everyone is talking about home values that have gone up. Let's talk about values. What do you see happening with home values?
Values have increased probably about 7-8% in Will County over the last year. So I do see them moving up as the rates tend to move lower, and we see more people kind of pushing the edge. They'll be able to afford more homes. So I think the home prices will continue to move up. I don't think there's any type of bubble like there was back in 2008, 2009. So Yeah, I don't see them moving lower. Especially there's just not enough houses out there, so it's just basically supply and demand.
That's right. Yep, the old simple rule of economics for sure. So now, what about those mortgage rates? Where are they at right now? The Fed just lowered the Fed rate by 0.5 point. How does this affect mortgage rates? You said they're not directly, but indirectly. They will come down, and they already have.
Yeah. So the Fed rate it influences the mortgage rates, but it doesn't really set the mortgage rates. So there's a lot of things that go into the mortgage rates, and a lot of times they move together. A lot of times they move in opposite directions. A lot of times the Fed will reduce their rate, and mortgage rates will tick up a little bit. So it's not always a direct correlation. But they definitely influence mortgage rates. It's mortgage rates kind of behave more like kind of a bond. So looking at mortgage-backed securities or the 10-year Treasury is more of an accurate depiction of what the mortgage rate will do. Sure. But it's they tend to. It's like one of the tools that make up mortgage rates. So it's not just the Fed rate, it's the CPI, the inflation, how the stock market's doing. If the stock market's having a great month, I think rates tend to be a little bit worse. But when the stock market's kind of bad or negative things are happening in the economy, besides inflation, the rates tend to perform a little bit better.
So where are we at this morning here, Harry? Where are we sitting at? 6 something?
We just locked a 30-year in at 5.625 with no points. So it's almost to like those 2013, 2014 levels. Not obviously not as low as like the 3%, but we just did one at 5.625. So
there you go.
Pretty strong.
Yeah, it is pretty strong. Rate. There we go, coming back down. And that takes us now to refi. Give us the reasons why people would refi. And I'm guessing one of the top 2 or 3 reasons is to get a better rate.
Yeah, exactly. If you're looking for a lower payment or a lower rate, obviously that's like a rate and term refinance is always a good idea to bring your payment down. There's it doesn't. I don't see it too much now, but when the rates were really low, everybody was kind of rushing to lower their term and rate at the same time. So we'd see like ridiculously low short-term loans, like 1.5%, 2%, 15 or 10-year mortgages. But I don't see that too much anymore, obviously. But rate and term refinance, lower your payment, save some money on your monthly payment, which is what, or right now, I'd say the most common is like a cash out refinance, accessing the equity in your home. And I've seen a lot of debt consolidation loans. I've seen a lot of our members will combine like a first mortgage and their second mortgage and take out some extra cash. I've seen borrowers take out cash to purchase other investment properties. So it's pretty common. We've got kind of a little niche product that will allow you to cash out up to 90% of the equity of your home without any hits of the rate. So it's kind of a little bit of a niche, and we've been doing a lot of those. So
hey, Harry, if I'm thinking about moving in the next couple of years, is a refi a good idea?
It depends. If we're talking about that first option, just a rate and term refinance to save some money, I would weigh the cost versus because how many months is it going to take you to break even from what you're saving, from what your costs are? If you're moving in 6, 9 months, or even a year and a half, it might not make sense. It might be a wash with how much you're saving versus like when you're actually selling your house. But if you've got an actual additional benefit to the refinance, like you're you're going to be consolidating a bunch of stuff, or you're going to pay off first and second, or if you're using that cash for the purchase of your new home, if you're moving, something like that might make sense. You kind of have
right.
to. It's all personal preference,
sure.
but something like that would make maybe more sense than just looking for a lower payment.
Harry, right. Walk us through home equity versus mortgage refi. So a line of credit, home equity line, or a mortgage refi. Could you differentiate those two, please?
Yeah, so most mortgage rates are going to be fixed rates. So you're paying principal and interest over the term of the loan. I like to equate like the home equity line more like I hate to say credit card, but they're kind of like credit cards attached to your home, where
sure.
you're basically using your equity. But each of them are good tools for whatever purpose that you have. So if you know exactly what you're going to spend the money on, and you've got everything lined up, and you don't like the idea of an adjustable rate, and you just want to pay it off, maybe the mortgage is a better idea. And it typically that payment's going to be a little bit lower too. But if you're not sure and you just want to have an equity line for emergencies, or you just want to use a little bit and you're going to pay it off, you're going to pay it off in a couple months or a short term, I think a HELOC's probably a little better. When I say HELOC, home equity line might be a better option.
Sure.
But we'd probably go over both options with you if you call and kind of decide on the best one.
Harry Stewart is the Vice President of Mortgage Lending at NuMark Credit Union. He joins us here on Money Talk. Be listening at the end of the program. Chance to win a $25 Visa gift card. Compliments of NuMark Credit Union. Harry, different kinds of mortgage options that are out there. We know 30-year fixed is probably the most common, but what are some others?
We've seen some ARMs recently. I think they're kind of making a comeback, but I still I'd say the most common ones that we see are like 15-year fixed or 30-year fixed. Those are still the most common options. Occasionally we'll see an ARM. If we're talking about like actual mortgage products, we're still doing mostly conventional or conforming type loans.
Sure.
Without any of the risky features. FHA, popular, VA loans are popular. Not so much in the realm of refinancing, but they're popular options.
Very, very cool.
But,
So the best way to determine the best option for you, because there are options, why go 15 over a 30? Why go 30 over a 15? Why do adjustable rate? This is all part of a conversation you'll have with everyone, but just for our sake right now, what are some of the things we should look at when considering locking in?
I would say the best way to have that conversation is just to give us a call, and we'd go over those options with you. Really, like if it's just you and I talking, I would probably stick with a fixed rate. I probably wouldn't go into an ARM. I'm not saying ARMs are bad, but 95% of the time, maybe even 99% of the time, fixed rate is going to be your best option.
Got it. All right. How long does the whole process take? From calling Harry for the first time, we'll give you his phone number here in just a couple of moments. From calling you to closing, how long does the whole process take?
I would say refinances are very, very easy to wrap up nowadays. I would say like the shortest term, maybe 2 weeks, maybe a long refi, maybe 4 weeks, but I would say 2 to 4 weeks from start to finish.
That's not too bad.
Purchases might take a little bit longer because there's more moving parts, but I would say refinance, a simple refinance, maybe 2 to 4 weeks from start to finish.
Harry, you've been in this business for a long time. You said 14 years at NuMark alone. I'm sure you've seen everything, including 08 and everything, maybe even before then when they were given 110% financing on a house. Remember those days? Oh.
remember it was Dan Marino with his isotoner gloves. He was also like I think he was the representative for the money store back then, and that's like going back to like the late '90s.
Yeah, houses are worth $200,000. You get $250,000 loan. It's like probably not a good idea. So, in other words, you've seen everything. Best piece of advice you can give someone right now when thinking about getting a mortgage refi. What is that?
If they're looking just refinance, I would just continuously look at your options. You know, like don't if you're looking to access your equity, maybe give us a call just to discuss the different options for either the home equity line or a cash out mortgage refinance. If you it's kind of hard, but when the rates are lower, like everybody probably heard about the Fed lowering the rates. So when the rates do come down and you hear something like that, it might be a good idea just to check it out, see if you can save some money.
Yep, I agree with that for sure. And when people are considering who to call, and I urge them to call Harry. I've used Harry, absolutely fantastic. It's painless and it's educational also. Working with a credit union, why is that so cool and beneficial for people when getting a refi or a mortgage?
So the great thing about NuMark Credit Union, we're 100% member owned. We're not looking for profit from our members. We're looking for everything to be a pass-through cost. So instead of the high fees or looking for ways to not make something work, we're always looking for a solution. Everything's a pass-through service for our members, and it actually trickles down to those rates. So we're typically going to have lower costs and lower rates than any of our bank or broker competitors, especially with mortgages.
Right. Harry, as always, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much. It's so good catching up. I hope we get a chance to talk again before the holidays, my friend.
Yeah, thanks, Scott. I really appreciate the opportunity to come on, and we'll definitely talk before the holidays.
Good. All right, give me a phone number or an email for people to reach Harry Stewart, Vice President of Mortgage Lending. How can they find you?
It's super easy to get a hold of me. My direct line is 815-744-6767, and my email address is hstewart, STEWART, at NuMarkCU, the CU's for credit union.org.
Beautiful.
So hstewart at NuMarkCU.org.
Thank you, Harry.
Thanks, Scott.
All right, have a good day, buddy. You bet. Appreciate you. That's Harry Stewart. Really good guy, Vice President of Mortgage Lending. All right, so I got $25 to give away right now. Oh, got so many options for questions. All right, well, this one's easy. Most common type of mortgage. He gave us two options. You can go one or the other. I was going to go how many months of inventory do we have? It's 3.5. What was the rate today? 5.625 for 0 points. What is the most common type of mortgage? How many years? 815-254-7300. First correct caller on the Turk Furniture studio line. You're going to win a $25 Visa gift card from NuMark. Again, 815-254-7300. Let's go right to the studio line. Hi, good morning. You're on WJL Radio. Who am I speaking to?
This is Lori.
All right, Lori. Lori, give me the year. There's actually two of them. Most common.
I think it's the 30-year fix.
You are exactly right, young lady.
All right.
Way to go. You just won $25, girl.
All right. Thank you.
Nothing wrong with that. Where do you live, Lori?
I live in Joliet.
All right, so you know exactly where you need to go. You go to NuMark Credit Union, 6 corners, right here by the radio station, okay?
Yes.
And you can just pull into the drive-thru, give them your license, or you can go inside, license, and get yourself your $25 Visa gift card. Wait until any time after noon today or in the future and pick it up. We just need to process it, okay?
Yeah, sure. All right. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Lori. Have a great